This week though, this week in music, as we know, things are slowing down. I have had a chance to listen to some albums I've been trying to catch up on. I listened to Nicki for a bit. I listened to some other things for a bit. But what were you listening to this last week? I'm interested to find out what's been catching your ear for real.
Um, well, that Meek stuff you sent me, definitely. I was listening to that a little bit. That was another thing. He
Okay.
kind of gives me like a Stormzy vibe. Like I feel like the way he goes about his like UK rap, he kind of gave me a Stormzy vibe. Like I feel like it was hard for me to get into Stormzy at first, and he kind of, but the way they rap is kind of like the comparison they give G Herbo, where they're like, oh, like he doesn't rap on beat. Like he's not all the way on the beat. So I had to kind of catch it for a second. It took me a second, but I was really messing with um him for sure. And then I was still listening to that Dave and Jack Harlow song a lot. Like I was really messing with that.
You
So
liked it?
yeah, bro, I did. I liked it, and I just feel like I've been hearing it, but I don't know. I wasn't listening to like much music this week because I was in my car a decent amount, but I think
Oh,
that
okay.
Outta Gold project came back too, but yeah.
Let's start with new music then.
Okay.
This is I'm trying to like break segments up for the clips. This is the new music section of the pod. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we'll get into Meeks since you brought him up first. Meeks from the UK he dropped a 4 piece called Meekzness. Um, it was independent. He dropped his last project through Neighborhood Recordings, which is where Dave is signed and a couple other smaller artists. It's an independent label. So I'm interested to see like where he goes in terms of like where his projects are going to be released, if he's just going to do everything independently, if he's going to be with Neighborhood Recordings moving forward. But these 4 songs really surprised me. I will say he raps, and I'm surprised you said Stormzy because to me he gives me Dave vibes.
Mm.
He gives me Dave vibes a bit. You know what I'm saying? Like I went back and listened to some of his older stuff and some of Dave's stuff, and it gives me that type of vibe, like the way he writes his hooks and the way like the beat selection with the guitars and the strings and stuff like that. Like I get a lot of Dave from him. But I enjoyed the 4 songs, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely gonna go spin that first project again after hearing this.
Yeah, I wanted to get more into him. I thought he was interesting for to say the least. Like it was definitely a good listen. I was listening to it when I was in Jack's. It was actually kind of like right after I left your house when I was in there doing DoorDash and Grubhub and stuff. But I definitely want to hear more from him because that UK, just the difference in UK rap versus US rap is just a different kind of spice to it. It's something new. It's fresh and
Yeah,
something I like to hear.
for sure, for sure. Other than that, there were only really 2 projects I gave a listen. I want to get into Boz last, but Tainy dropped the Data instrumental. His That was his debut album, surprisingly enough. But he dropped the instrumental, and after hearing the instrumental, you realize I don't want to say you realize because we already know this, but it just emphasizes the fact of how crazy the beats were on that project, bro. Like I was listening to that Out the Nature Preserve the other day, and I was just like, bro, some of these beats hit different with no vocals on them. You know what I'm saying? And you hear them different when you go back and listen to the actual album. But yeah, bro, he actually snapped on this. I think you need to like really give it a listen when you get a chance. If you didn't already check it out, did you hear it?
No, I didn't even know he dropped the instrumental, but Comio off that's my favorite beat on there. And I need to hear that
Yes.
just be, bro. Like that was crazy. Like when it had the crazy beat switch in the middle.
Yeah,
Need that.
yeah,
Need that,
that's the song that had me like I stopped walking. I was like, what's going on?
bro.
But yeah, it's definitely I don't want to say a quick listen, but you could throw it on in the background. It's not too crazy. But in terms of albums, we only talk about real shit when we're fucked up by Boz. What did you think of this? Boz has been going for like 5 years, I think it was, like in terms of his last project. Did you enjoy it? What were the standouts? What do you have to say?
I didn't get into it that much, if I'm being completely honest. Like I just didn't really hear it, but from what I did hear from it, I was liking it. Like I did hear the song Paper Cuts with J. Cole. That was one I liked. And then I had heard the single and I liked where it was going. But if I'm not wrong, doesn't he have a Adekunle Gold feature on here? I'm gonna have to tap into that if that's
Yeah,
true. Yeah.
yeah.
I need to see that, but I didn't really get into it much. I wanted to. but I need to listen to
Okay.
it more.
Yeah, I gave the whole thing at least one listen, and then I kind of went back towards the top
Hmm.
because a lot of these were singles, right? Like Risk with FKJ came out before, 179 Deli with AJ Tracy came out, Passport
Yeah,
Bros came out. The Adagula Gold was a single as well. So a lot of these were singles, but they were, he was really rapping on this project. I'm not gonna lie. It was refreshing. Like the intro, Light of My Soul. I love the cadence, like the cadence he's rapping at on that one. I went back to that one a couple times. Home Alone with J. Cole. That song gives me the song Amar, I think it's Amari off
yeah, yeah.
it gives me that vibe. Like the pace or the tempo, it gives me that one. I really fuck with that one too. Um, but yeah, it's I'm gonna give it more of a listen this week, but off of first listener too, it's definitely solid. You know what I'm saying? Like the production on here is definitely fire. Who somebody I just blanked, bro.
What do you mean?
I just I just blanked on the producer who I was gonna
Oh,
bro, who's the producer we talk about all the time on here?
on what?
Uh the Afrobeats producer, bro.
Blaze.
Fuck. No, no, no.
Um,
Let me just look at the album and find it. Cause
Go ahead.
Kelpie Vibes. What the fuck?
Kelpie vibes.
Kelpie Vibes produced a lot on this album, and you can hear it. Yeah, I forgot his name for a second. It just completely blanked. It was right there. You know when you go to say something,
Yeah,
bro, it just disappeared on me. But yeah, definitely listen to this if you got time. You know what I'm saying? Dreamville doesn't really miss.
yeah. They
Dreamville doesn't really
don't.
miss.
They don't. And I want to listen to it for sure because Milky Way is definitely a good project to me. Like that's the one that came out
Yeah,
5 years ago, and then
yeah.
even Pick Me Up was good too. Like the little 4 pack he had put out with the little TJ song. I think wasn't Passport Bros on this, bro? I thought it was. I thought that was.
Passport Bros came out a long time. Oh, you know, I don't even know what a long time is anymore. When I was looking back at the 2023 like best albums, I'm like, this came out this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's
It's
a
just
ton of that.
it's just because there's so much stuff that comes out, bro. I forget. Like there's just too much stuff, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are really the only projects that came out this week. I'm still giving Nicki more of a listen. I will say she did like the little deluxe thing. And the song she got with 50 Cent, I fuck with that one. I fuck with that one. But not ready to really. I don't want to say not ready to really talk about it. I like to let the really really big albums. I like to let the hype die down and then me go listen. Like whenever I'm seeing all this stuff on the internet, I feel like it's going to influence how I listen to it when I go in. But there's some stuff you just can't get away from, like that Everybody song. That shit a bob.
Yeah.
That shit is a bob.
Yeah. Another
I
year,
fuck
another
with that.
Vince Lombardi. Another year, another Vince Lombardi, bro. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I will say, like, the thing I appreciate about this versus I Just Want to Rock, because they got the same bounce. They rapping on this hoe.
Yeah.
They actually got bars on, like Uzi is actually rapping on that track. And I'm like, okay, I fuck with this. Like, cause on I Just Want to Rock, there's no bars.
This is one of the
It's
only times, bro. This is one of the only times though I would say I didn't need an Uzi feature. Like I feel like Nicki
I
could
didn't
have
need
gone
it.
right, bro. Like I feel like Nicki could have gone for either 2 or 3 verses and gone crazy the way she was going. Like she was
But
going nuts on that song, bro.
But it's out of like when you think about the numbers games and the label games, like you got Uzi on a Jersey Club track with Kai and what's the other guy named Phantom or something,
Yeah,
and the other that
Duke.
nigga on
Yeah,
stage in New York dancing to the record. Like that's out of here. That's a number. I don't know where it's at. It might be. I'm gonna check if it's number one, but it damn well should be because it's doing what it's supposed to do.
not with that crazy sample too, bro. Like that sample is a cheat code, bro. Like that. That was a cheat code, bro, for sure.
Um, yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how she sold like 200 and I think it was 21K or something,
Mhm.
and then like 92 pure albums,
Oh,
which is in this for what she did is actually really far. Is actually really fire.
no, I mean, she is one of those high selling. I feel like people forget that. Like she's one of those really high selling artists, but it's just because she releases so infrequently that people just don't even know.
Yeah, yeah, she doesn't need to release that frequently though. I will say, Red Ruby to Sleaze, that's one of my favorite singles of the year. It didn't make my like year end rap, but as I think back on it, bro, that's one of my favorite rap songs of the year
Mm,
for sure. I love that song.
mm.
Anyway, back to new music. There's two singles I wanted to talk about briefly. There was three, but one of them got taken down off Spotify. I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but it was weird. I was bopping to it on Friday, and by Saturday it was gone. But what we have left, Stefflon Don dropped a single called "Deadly" featuring Victony. I think Stefflon Don is interesting for a couple of reasons, right? Like when I was introduced to her, it was through bars, it was through freestyles and raps, and she can really rap. But in the last year, I'll say like a lot of the songs and music she's put out has been a lot more melodic. You know what I'm saying? She's worked with a lot of Afrobeats artists and a lot of Afrobeats producers, which is it's cool, like it sounds good, but it's not what I thought she was gonna be leaning into because she could really fucking rap, and I want to hear her rap. But I like the song. I don't know, her career arc is kind of interesting when you look at it. Like all she's really been putting out is these like Afro beats esque tracks. She just did one with Benson a couple months ago on Spinall's album. She did another one over like on my piano DJ's project. It's I don't know. I don't know where she's going. I just want to hear her rap. It's like she's got the same vibe to me as Shensia. Like I just want to hear them rap, bro. Like I could do without the melodic shit.
I feel like the not even the types of artists they are, but like the things they've been exposed to as far as like their nationalities and where they're from. You get exposed to that type of stuff in those places. So I mean that's where you're gonna take a lot of influence from. But um, I'm not the biggest Stefan
Jamaicans,
Don, fan.
you're not the biggest fan.
Not
Have you
even
heard her
not
music
even
before?
not even fan. I might say I'm not as hip on her music. Like I remember when she make a XXL cover. I swear she did.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I heard about her
yeah.
then. And that year, I had downloaded the album that she released like right after, and it's still in my Spotify like songs. There's a couple of songs on there that I do like, but I feel like I just haven't heard her enough. Like I heard some of the freestyles on I forget the UK drill platform on YouTube.
Daily Duppy.
Yeah, Daily Duppy. I've heard those, but I really haven't gotten much into her stuff. I need to get more into her stuff
Yeah,
too.
yeah. You know, um, yeah. We'll just leave that alone. But another single that dropped this week, "Coupe" by Baby Boy AV. Baby Boy AV, somebody I know nothing about. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know what he does on social media. I just know he drops straight bangers. There's a song called Confession by
Yeah,
Baby Boy AV. Yeah. And then he dropped another one after that. And then he dropped Jaga Jaga with Victony, which is a banger. And then he dropped this. And this song is definitely solid. I just heard it this morning. I didn't even know it had dropped initially. But if you like Afro beats, go check this song out because it's a banger.
I didn't even get to hear this, but this is going on my songs to listen to because I love Confession. I think I listen to that at least. I almost listen to that every day. Like I love that song, bro. Like it
Yeah.
definitely makes it. It was in my top 100 songs too. It was towards the bottom, but it was in there.